I'm a little worried that your colleagues in the current administration are more focused on propping up the Argentinian peso. In fact, it seems to be doing several favors for President Milei of Argentina, rewarding him with unconditional financial support and expanding U.S. market access. We're doing this even while China makes it enormous purchases of Argentine soybeans at the expense of U.S. soybean farmers. China's U.S. soybean embargo is the result of President Trump's the China policies that he put in the last administration, which, by the way, I didn't object to notionally, but the incoherence of the policy, I think, has put us in the position to see these responses from China. I'm worried that even though he may ink a deal with China tomorrow, that sees Beijing buying more U.S. soybeans, which would be good for us and good for our soybean farmers. I'm worried that the price for that is going to be that we're going to be sending U.S. technology to China that we shouldn't be sending to China, because we put ourselves in a weak position to negotiate this agreement instead of a strong one. I'm very concerned that he's going to claim to have solved the China soybean problem, which he created at the expense of our national security. And if that weren't enough, instead of selling into foreign markets, the U.S. taxpayer is now long the peso. I can't believe that that is the position of my colleagues on the Finance Committee, Republicans and Democrats. It is an incredibly interesting trade for a hedge fund manager like Scott Bessent to make, but I doubt Coloradans think this is a sound investment to make with their tax dollars. It's staggering. I would challenge any of us to find a single parent in our state who believe that we should be putting $2 billion of their money in to speculate on the Argentine peso. And now we've extended President Milei a $20 billion currency swap with no conditions and no protections for our taxpayer dollars. When we offered a similar swap to Mexico in 1995, we added strict requirements to ensure that the American people's money wasn't spent recklessly or wasn't lost in an unhedged trade. Yet the Trump administration has announced no such protections in this case. We barely have any explanation from the Treasury Department at all. To my knowledge, this committee has not received any explanation. And after risking billions of taxpayer dollars propping up a country that has a history of default, we've turned around and caused chaos in the markets for farmers and ranchers by announcing more Argentine beef imports. The administration says this will lower beef prices for consumers, but Argentina accounts for just about 2% of our imported beef. I know you know that, Dr. Callahan. Even if that amount were quadrupled, it would be nowhere near enough to change grocery store prices in Colorado or anywhere else. What it did change was confidence. That is what President Trump undermined, was confidence. The president told cattle ranchers that beef prices were too high, and the market took that as a signal that more shocks were coming. And prices have dropped, speculation has spiked, and now producers are the ones paying the price for those tweets. Dr. Callahan, what's the value in doing any of this if we're not going to reduce beef prices in America? You're an expert. Please let us know.
Thank you, Senator Bennet, for raising this issue. And I will say that the negotiations with Argentina are underway. And if confirmed, my intention is to signal to U.S. farmers and ranchers that my single-minded effort across our negotiations is to open market access to benefit U.S. farmers and ranchers. With Argentina, they do impose non-tariff barriers that prevent U.S. beef from entering their market. They also have tariffs. My intention in the negotiation with Argentina is this will not be a one-way conversation about beef. We would like to see beef access into Argentina as well. Thank you.
I'm out of time, Mr. Chairman, but let me just say I appreciate the coherence of your answer. And I hope that it reflects a coming coherence in this administration's trade policy, because our producers have not deserved to be put in the crosshairs of this incoherent policy.